Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to day one of Rare Evo. I am Dyla, and I'm here presenting probably one of my favorite topics in Web3, which is Web3 gaming. So today is blockchain gaming. I knew I was going to forget the entire title, but Ready Player One or mere hype. So we have a great panel of speakers today, which I'd love to introduce to you. Ian Bentley, co-founder of Wagmi Games.
Yo, what's up? Let's go!
Let's go. Michael Wagner, co-founder and CEO of Star Atlas.
Yo, what's
What's
up?
up, Mike? Damon Taylor, division lead at NeoTokyo.
Let's go!
Scott. Scott's not here. He's not? No. Okay, I didn't think so. Okay, Josh Jones, co-founder and CEO of Cornucopias.
All right,
Legend
make some
himself.
noise.
And we have Ben Gothard, division lead at NeoTokyo. Welcome, guys.
Prime time!
This is the most hype
Take it
I've
away,
ever
gentlemen.
seen a panel intro. Let's get noisy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the panel here. I want you all to know, getting started, that in the world today, about 60% of the internet-connected world are gamers. This includes your hardcore PC gamers. This includes your console gamers. This includes your soccer moms playing Candy Crush while their kids are scoring a goal with 2 minutes left. Anybody and everybody is a gamer. That is going to only continue over time. More people are going to be connected to the internet. More people are going to be gaming. More people are going to be existing in these virtual worlds. People 30 and younger have grown up surrounded by digital worlds. They don't know anything differently. And where attention goes, money flows. The people who are building at the forefront of this industry, this crypto gaming industry, the virtual worlds industry, are these gentlemen here. We have three esteemed builders on the stage, and so we're going to dive into, is crypto gaming hype, or are we on the precipice of one of the greatest digital transformations this planet has ever seen? So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Gentlemen, please introduce yourselves and a quick about your projects.
Sure, I guess I'll start since I'm next to you. My name is Ian Bentley. I'm a co-founder and CEO of a company called Wagmi Games. We're focusing on mobile to start with our franchise, but one of the things that we're really focused on is the IP, the story, the lore, the characters, because we believe in order to have the true demand for digital collectibles, we truly believe that you have to have an emotional tie with the characters and the story. You know, a la Avengers, a la Star Wars, you know the characters' names, you know their story, you get emotionally involved with it. And by utilizing the technology that we have with digital collectibles, the blockchain, be able to trade the three-letter bad word that I like to call NFTs, they're digital collectibles that you can trade. Being able to do that freely, I believe, is the next generation of gaming. It's the next generation of understanding, you know, in a Trojan horse mechanism that, you know, you're free to do what you want with your stuff instead of just throwing money away for entertainment. And that's what we're really focused on in Wagmi Games. So we're excited to have our first title, Wagmi Defense, out here very shortly, and looking forward to be one of the emerging technologies in gaming to prove the actual thesis that you can actually own your stuff and trade them and have a good time while doing it.
Nice. Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Wagner. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Automata. That's the studio behind the game Star Atlas. What we're building is, thank you to the Star Atlas fan club. Really appreciate that. What we're building is an expansive open world space exploration MMO. We're building that in Unreal Engine 5, and we're bringing AAA quality gaming to the blockchain, building on Solana specifically. And our goal is really to bring digital deep space exploration to you in person.
Hi, my name is Josh Jones. I'm co-CEO of Cornucopias. And Cornucopias is a life simulator game where you can explore, craft, participate in mining, do racing and adventure. And it's set in a world where humanity has ascended from the Earth's surface into the clouds, into the sky, into these giant dome structures. Each one has its own unique gaming experience. Yeah, we're also in a state of pre-alpha right now. You can see some of those domes, and if you can imagine what I'm talking about over at our booth, it's right there behind that wall. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. We're building, and we're looking to be in alpha stage, launching to mainstream gamers in early Q2 of next year.
Nice.
Can I jump in for a quick plug, too?
Yeah.
He just reminded me. We've got a booth right over there, 4 gaming stations. Go check it out after this.
We all have booths.
Oh,
so
hey, we have a
let's go
booth
over
here.
there.
If you see a human emperor, that's
Wait,
our
but
booth.
stop at our booth first.
All right.
Hey, listen, we're all together.
Here's the
We can
deal.
just
At
do a
the
tour bus.
at the end, we're gonna make sure that everybody here goes and meets you guys at your booth and asks more questions, right? So
You know what I think is the coolest thing about the 3 of us on here is we're all about fantasy and sci-fi. Like, it is actually original content and creation that we're all trying to explore here, and the fact that we're all sci-fi, that doesn't happen very often, so hell yeah.
I thought you were going to say it's because we're all degenerates. But your
That was
answer better.
backstage.
That was pre the show.
Rare Evo 2025 tickets are on sale now. Save big. General admission passes are discounted to $250, and VIP passes are only $800. Join us August 7th through 9th, 2025 at Caesars Palace, Las Vegas. Hurry, only 30 days left to save. Visit rareevo.io and buy your tickets now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hand it over to my co-host here, Damon, in a second. We are with NeoTokyo, part of the crypto gaming Illuminati, and so we've been watching these projects grow for years. We've been seeing what's been going on in the crypto gaming space, and so we're going to start diving into some of the topics, and we're going to make sure that we really get to the bottom of this, of whether we are hype or on the precipice of something incredible. Damon?
yeah, so I've been working with these guys, having conversations with them. I trust them. I respect them. I believe in what they're doing. But I think that it's really easy for everybody that is not seeing what they're doing behind the scenes, that is not hearing all that information, to miss what's really going on. And I think we're going to take the skeptical side. We're going to speak for you guys and ask them the harder questions that most people aren't getting the answers to. So I'd like to start off with like one of the simple ones that I think is really easy for us, but maybe is not something that you guys are talking about on a daily basis. But why is blockchain necessary in gaming? Why are you guys pursuing this as an avenue?
I'll start.
Yeah, let's start right here.
Sure. So I think when you look at the secondary market and what's happening with secondary market sales in crypto and Web3 gaming, there's already billions in secondary market transactions. When you look at mainstream games, the gray market and the black market, there's already billions of unauthorized transactions from gamers. What that does is it shows the demand for true ownership of these assets. It shows the demand for a decentralized liquid marketplace. So our philosophy is we want to give the players what they want. And it's Walt Disney that said it best, give the people what they want and they'll bring their friends. I think this is exactly what's going to bring, and he's the king of entertainment, right? So that's going to bring the masses into Web3 and Web3 gaming, and it's going to be the true ownership of those assets.
Michael, do you have anything?
Yeah, I think that's great. What Josh had just mentioned, realistically, and taking a cynical approach, just from the why blockchain versus any traditional database standpoint, I think it really comes down to this idea of immutability. It was Vitalik, right, that started Ethereum because his World of Warcraft character was modified without his permission to do so. Now, again, in this current era, it is still possible to modify assets even if they're living on chain, but you have the full transparency and you have the full provenance, the full ownership history and record of every asset that everybody's owned and the trade history behind all of that. I think that's incredibly empowering, and the fact that we are entering into this new paradigm of game asset ownership where our terms of service do not say you're not allowed to trade this or sell this to someone else. Our terms of service are we want you to trade this, we encourage you to trade this, and here's a marketplace that we provide to you so you have that liquidity and you have that opportunity to turn around and monetize the time that you spend in the game.
Enjoying the event?
Two other segments I think are important here. One of those is this concept of play to earn, which may or may not be appropriate for every single game out there, but particularly for games that are MMOs, they historically have had vibrant economies, digital economies, since the inception of MMOs, and all we're doing is tokenizing the underlying gold of those ecosystems, and we're connecting that to this new paradigm, this new financial paradigm that is blockchain and crypto, and we're saying, again, these assets and these tokens have value for you to the extent that there is demand and interest and participation in this new digital civilization. We take it one step further with Star Atlas with our on-chain gaming logic, where we have extracted a lot of the gaming logic from the game engine, such as Unreal Engine or Play Canvas or Unity for teams that are building in that, and we're building those into smart contracts on Solana. Now, this is really difficult to do. It's really bleeding edge. It makes the entire process far more complicated, but the upside benefit of that is this idea of composability. So this idea that we can create an ecosystem of co-creators and co-developers that have open access to our programs, and they can create their own tooling, their own services, their own products, and we fully encourage them to also monetize the services that we're building. I think that's the only way we achieve this full grand vision of open access metaverse in the future.
Yeah, and the one thing that I like about what both of you guys have talked about is, being able to do what you want with your assets. You briefly mentioned a little bit of play to earn, play to airdrop. None of those are sustainable economies. Those are a crypto game that are here for a flash in the pants, and usually you see them with copied IP, and they're just a bunch of bullshit. Let's be straight. But companies like us who are talking about let's let the consumers have something of value to them that they can do something if they want to do something with, I think is incredibly important. Our philosophy at Wagmi Games is more of the Trojan horse mechanism. Nobody gives a shit about the technology. If you're literally going into a Home Depot and shopping for a refrigerator, you don't care about the copper pipes as far as the condenser to see if the ice makes better ice. You just want to make sure that it makes better ice, right? So being able to go where the consumers are at, we're using the technology on the back end to be able to give that to the consumers so that they have the trading mechanisms. But even requiring things like buying an NFT with crypto, those are things that we've removed. We have the technology that we've built so that you can just pay with it the way you want to. Trading, we're building marketplaces that you can actually connect your PayPal account with and buy and sell your own your NFTs without any crypto, right? It's technology to be able to adapt to the technology is how we're going to all prove the thesis that people on the outside looking in don't think that this entire industry is a Ponzi scheme and it's all the crypto play to earn. I think that we should start identifying there are Web3 games and then there are crypto games. And I do believe that there is a different type of paradigm in between the both.
Yeah, strongly agree. I think it's really important to understand that what you are doing as the game builders and as in the spaces, you're doing something no one else has done before, right? Early internet, whenever we first had the internet, it was complicated, it was difficult to navigate. You had to be a tech guy to do it. Now everybody has it on their phone. You don't know what the website's built on. This is what you guys are doing now, right? Which is what makes it complicated, which makes it hard, which makes it time consuming. But that's what the push is. That's what you guys are striving for, right? So I also want to address something that I think is a pretty common question as to, if you guys have been working on this for a while, why have we not seen the big hits? Why is there not a breakout game yet? What is it that's holding everything back? And we'll start with Michael this time.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reality is when you're looking at building the highest quality gaming product, the term that gets thrown around a lot is AAA. These are titles that take up to a decade to create. I mean, the space just hasn't been around that long. We saw the earliest iterations of Web3 gaming or crypto gaming back in 2017, 2018 with Axie. And obviously Axie's model and vision wasn't to go the full AAA, fully immersive route, but there has been enthusiasm for that. And I think that there's a lot of quality statements that were made to the essence of, if we want to attract mainstream and we want to attract mainstream gamers, we're going to have to build the experiences that they're accustomed to and that they actually desire. So bottom line, I mean, the short answer is it just takes a long time. And there's a lot of great teams in the space that are rolling out early access, pre-alpha versions of the game. And we're taking these risks, by the way, of showcasing our product at such an early stage, because the level of criticism and critique that you receive when you're rolling something out that you know in your head it's not polished, it's not finished. We're just going to get you into it so you can see if the gameplay mechanics are even something that you want. And sure, we're gonna polish it as much as we want, but you have the demand from the user for consistently new content, which is not just Web3, by the way. This is anytime a new DLC rolls out in a game, you eat that thing up in like 3 days, 4 days. And then those communities are looking for the next thing from those major studios. Well, imagine building something from scratch, oftentimes building a studio from scratch from the ground up, and at the same time trying to deliver content to an insatiable audience who also wants to see their tokens go up. So most of that is just to say that this all really takes a long time to build if you really want to do it quality.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just like everything in business, right? It's a step-by-step process, and there's an evolution. And I would say that the best businessmen are businessmen that can look in the mirror and determine it's not good enough, right? It's not ready. It's not good enough. We know, we're constantly saying this. We host a Wagmi Wednesdays on Twitter. We haven't missed one since, I think, February of 2022, which essentially is when we started this entire project. So we're only about 30 months old, right? Through that time, we've had two different iterations. Is that the word? Iterations. Thanks.
Yeah.
Two different iterations of our heroes. Like, we've gone through one whole entire design set of our heroes. We had them in the game, and we're like, you know what? We had some people from EA come in on our team who had experience in Web 2. We listened to people who are smarter than us, who believed in what we're trying to do, but we took their opinions. We had guys like Alex Ropian, who's a co-founder of Bungie and Halo, told us, hey, your silhouettes on your heroes are not good enough. They're not iconic enough. So instead of us being like, hey, fuck you, we're like, okay, what do we need to do to get better? And I think it's this constant evolution of understanding that in order for us to compete globally, not just in a small little Web3, play to earn, farming token kind of industry, but for us to have these breakout and prove the thesis that blockchain, NFT, ownership, being able to have DAO stuff like you guys have on Star Atlas is the future, we have to put out a product that can compete with, and the way we look at it, is the Marvels of the world, the Disneys of the world. If we're not putting our best foot forward and getting people immersed into that quality, then we are not going to compete. We might be the one in a million shot in which we have a Candy Crush that has absolutely nothing to do with IP, but if we're looking to have these immersive experiences in terms of the lore, we're so focused on the story. We want anime series, right? We believe having people get emotionally tied with the story will drive traffic to the game and vice versa. We're building full merchandise lines of toys, right? We want the kids to be able to say, hey, we are battling these heroes, and now we can pick up this game and be able to play it there too. Transmedia approach. So it just takes so much time and so much love and blood and sweat and tears to get to where we're at, and then we look at to see, are we happy with where we're at now? Or do we still have to continue to improve to know that we have to put our best forward in order to compete globally? And like I said, we're 30 months old. Like, if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, I mean, you're talking 7 to 10 years to have a true franchise AAA quality game. Like, ask anybody that has put out Call of Duty's, World of Warcrafts, the Evos of the world. I think we were talking to our developers, and they were saying, yeah, Evo, $500 million in 20 years, right? Like, we're trying to compete against those franchises, so it just takes time to cook. And really, you can only go as fast as the art allows you to, and then dealing with the emerging technology that is not exactly the easiest to build on right now.
Exactly.
So,
Josh? Yeah, I would say, I would echo what these gentlemen are saying. Up to 10 years to build a good quality AAA game, especially an MMO type of game. And, one of the things that people don't realize is the complexity involved in putting together in a game and trying to drive towards this fully immersive experience. You have so many elements that you have to bring in and think about just the audio in a game. or the animations, the layers and upon layers and upon layers of development aspects that you have to build with your team. You've got a programming side, an art side, and all of this has to work cohesively with organization and leadership to achieve the vision that you really want to deliver on. And so, but one of the things that you mentioned is, it's, I think, a strength that Web3 has that we didn't discuss earlier, which is the community aspect of this and the transparency aspect of this. We are offering things out. The paradigm in mainstream gaming is build, 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 and then show them something in 8 years. Whereas with crypto, what we're trying to do in Web3 gaming is, look, we want to launch something. We want to get something in your hands as quickly as we can that's quality, that represents the quality that we're okay with, to echo your point. But then that way we get your feedback. We involve the community from day one, and we're building a community from day one. And we get to get feedback from the communities to help us improve. And we get to listen to what didn't you like about this? What did you like about this? So yeah, it takes a long time to build quality. But I think what we're about to see in this next bull cycle in crypto is that Web3 games, there are some solid, I mean, I'm up some legends here on this stage. There's some solid projects building, and you're gonna start to see real mainstream adoption and real studios, billion-dollar studios, starting to jump into Web3, because they're gonna see the dent that we're making when the masses start coming our direction.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really glad that you brought that up, because I was going to bring that up if somebody didn't say it up here about the community. One of the most important things that you guys are dealing with time-wise is that you're not just building a game. You are building that community, and that takes time too, because it's almost an exploration. It's an experiment that you're doing that hasn't been done, and that taking that feedback also slows you down at times or makes you change directions. But that's part of the creative process now. It's not just something that's separate, right? So I'm going to make a point here and say that I had another question and a half that I was going to bring up, but time is short. But this is the point for you. We're here at this event. You're welcome to stop in. We all have booths. You can come visit us. We're here because we want to talk to you. We want to be a part of this larger community. We want to ask and answer questions of each other, because this is how we adapt and grow. That's part of the power of what we're doing. And I think if you haven't seen that already, you need to talk to more people. But I do want to wrap it up with one final question for you guys. I want to find out where are crypto games, not specifically yours, but just crypto games in general, going to be in the next 10 years? What are you foreseeing based on what you know is happening behind the scenes already? Yeah, let's start there. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
I believe in 10 years, again, just like any kind of emerging technology, it becomes standard, right? I think that there's so much that's happening with blockchain, the blockchain with AI, with storage, being able to utilize, just on-chain events. Like, for example, just in gaming, if we just move every tournament and tie it into the APIs of the games and have it on the blockchain, there's no doubt who won that match. That's a very simple thing to understand with the technology of blockchain, that you don't have to have NFTs. You don't need crypto tokens for, but it's being able to leverage the technology part of it. So I believe that on a tech part of the industry, you're going to see a lot of adoption. I think that there's going to be, like I said, segments of your degens that are looking for play to earn, that are pure extraction. To me, you have a lot of the play to earn games that are out there in which they're focused on, let's say, South Asia, right? God bless those families who for $2 or $3 a day of extraction of tokens can now feed their families, right? That's amazing, but that's not going to be global. That's absolutely not going to be sustainable if there's true games that need to make money in order to continue to have more development, in order to continue to make, $10, $15, $20 million anime series and actually get, $100 million, $200 million deals for motion pictures. So you're going to have different segments that are going to now have different parts of industry in crypto gaming, Web3 gaming, but I truly believe that's what's going to start to happen as long as we can prove the thesis here over the next 3 to 5 years that gaming studios do not need to be scared of giving the option to the consumer to trade their stuff on a secondary market. Instead, sniping 2, 3, 4% of royalties probably will make them more money than trying to have a walled garden as far as keeping their consumers inside. And I believe that entire strategy is going to basically pay off.
For the interest of time, let's continue. Make sure we hear from all
Yeah.
the panelists in the last question.
Glad to hear that. Michael, you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously all very bullish on what we're building here, and I think the future of Web3 gaming. Realistically, though, I do think there's going to be a proliferation of crypto, blockchain, Web3 games going into the future, simply because the value proposition for the end user is just way too strong. If I were to simplify it, it's fractionalized sharing of value based on time spent in the game, period. And so the monetization policies of traditional studios, while necessary and fine for what they were building, were okay. I mean, what we're introducing is a new way to share value with the user in the creation of the asset, in the co-development of the asset, in the growth of the ecosystem, and their way to participate in that. So I think it's just way too good for everyone else that's involved, and we're going to see a huge paradigm shift away from traditional monetization models.
Josh, what do you see in 10 years?
In 10 years, I think the paradigm shifts. There's not a mainstream games and a Web3 games. It's all Web3 games. I don't think there's an option in 10 years to build a mainstream game, because you just wouldn't be able to compete. It's not going to work. I really believe I wouldn't be fully wholehearted into this, working every single day, bleeding, crunch mode, all of this stuff to build this game if I didn't fully believe in that eventuality. That it's coming. The tidal wave of people, as they start to experience the true ownership of the assets, the immutability, all of the benefits that the blockchain is empowering within gaming, the masses are coming over this way, and there won't be a mainstream versus a Web3 gaming concept. All the studios are moving over in our direction. And then further, when you add in the power of AI and that we're moving towards this fully immersive environment, I think we're going to be blown away. We won't even recognize what we see. It's going to be incredibly powerful. And I hope we can bring learning and skill set development and all sorts of good things to give back to the world in the midst of that.
Yeah, I agree. Ben, 20 seconds. I know you're seeing a lot of things happen in NeoTokyo. What do you see for crypto in 10 years?
Okay, so right now we're seeing a shift in the whole gaming landscape. We're seeing all of the funding moving from Web 2 gaming into Web 3 gaming. We're seeing the talent moving from Web 2 gaming into Web 3 gaming. This stuff takes a lot of time. These are some of the smartest people that you're going to see and meet. And these guys are at the forefront of the industry, and it's taking the smartest people in the world years to build an incredible product. So give it some time. We are still relatively early here. Just remember, the young people are living in virtual worlds. The virtual worlds are being built out by gaming companies like these brilliant guys up here. These guys do an incredible job. They spend a lot of time, and they spend all of their time and effort and attention in their life force building this stuff out. It is incredibly difficult, and I just want to say kudos to you guys for building this stuff out, and thank you very much for being on the panel today.
Yeah.
Likewise, thanks for having
Let's
me.
give them
Thank
a
you,
warm
guys.
round of applause.
Round of applause. Yep. Good job.
And props to NeoTokyo, probably one of the best communities in all of Web3 that has supported gaming for years. So appreciate everything that you guys are doing, really do.
Enjoying the event? Fire up that wallet and delegate your ADA to Rare Stake Pool. For over 3 years, Rare has been committed to providing high-quality staking services. Thank you for your support.